Incredible greetings, creatives, and welcome to another edition of Canva Can't Do That. So, these questions and the things that I show come from the questions that I see or posts that I see in groups or ones that people ask me directly in my inbox. Okay, well, that's the goal, is to have all this content come to you when people express their frustrations with the things that they can or cannot do and just don't understand about doing things in Canva. So this question was posed in a group, and essentially what they were trying to accomplish. I'm going to pull this like over here just so that you guys can see. It's so different than being on my other devices. But basically the question was, how do you create the line or void between the outlines and things of the word vacay and that checker background? Now, when it comes to Canva, you cannot technically remove pixels or um, erase certain things in a uniform manner. So there are options, especially if you have Canva Pro, where you have like any background eraser, where you can do like the magic erase and things of that nature. But it doesn't work with all elements. In our first installment of this, we talked a little bit about vector and raster. And the eraser tool doesn't work on anything vector. And when you have text and you are putting an outline around it, that is vector basically. So the erase function will not work for that. So while you can create a version of this where it has a transparent background, because we also have to think about, how do we plan to use this? Are we wanting to just have this where it's going to be something in a digital format? Do we need it to have a transparent background where we can put it on different backgrounds? And if this was actually on a shirt, it's going to show through in that area. These are all the things that you have to consider and truly understand about how not just Canva works, but understanding design in general. So my goal, first and foremost, is always to help you understand design in general. I am Shakia, the professor of HS Inc. 365. If you want to see all the rest of our content, our classes on Silhouette Studio, Canva, Photoshop, check out our website, shop.hsinc365.com. But let's go ahead and dive into this question. All right, so I'm going to make this a little bit smaller. All right, I'm going to show here what the results are. So it technically can, we're going to say, be accomplished, right? Where we have the design, I'm going to go ahead and add a colored background to this, okay? I'll even add like a blue one, and you can see it's going to change. There is a void. So now, no matter what you put behind it, you're going to see that opening. If you were someone that wanted to get DTF transfers made, the way that you have to set this up, you could not simply just do that to get DTF transfers made. You would want to get it where it only prints where there's black and where there is white, which I forgot the outline of this, but you'll see it in the next part of it. You only want to see that, and then that way when you put it on a shirt, that comes through. There is a certain way that you have to set that up. All right, you have to kind of take it out and then bring it back in. That's what I had to do with this. And you also have to have Canva Pro. You must have Canva Pro in order to do this. So if I go over here I'm going to go back to edit, I'm going to go to the background remover, and I'm going to show original. And let's just going to say reset the tool, okay? So this is how it came in with all of that pink background, and then we had to use the background remover, which is a pro feature, to remove that background. Now with removing that background, as you can see the quality, and I took it all the way up as high as it can possibly go, and we still kind of have some fuzziness, and if I get in really, really tight, you still see some of that pink around the edges, okay? But I'm going to go through and show you how this is done. All right, so we're going to go ahead and delete that. And I'll delete this. And here, I forgot to actually do this where it didn't have anything. Okay, so I went into the elements. One of the joys, of course, of Canva is all of the amazing elements and assets that are available inside the program, both free and with Pro. So we went and got a checkered, element or background. Then I just took the a string of text, wrote out the word vacay, selected a font, right? Now, to get that outline around it with fonts, it's different for other elements that are pictures. You have to go into two different areas. That's one of the things that's kind of different about Canva. You're going to see when I do this in Silhouette, I can just click on an image or a font, and I can just do use one tool. Whereas in Canva, depending on what the element is, you may or may not have the option to put outlines on things, okay? So we're going to click here. Well, click on the text, and you're going to go to Effects, which will bring up this window. And we're going to choose Outline, okay? Once you choose that, you're going to come over here, and you're going to select a color. So whether you sample the color from the background or something, you just want to make sure that that background color and the outline, they match. So I'm just going to select this pink, and you can make this as big or as small, or as thick or as thin as you want it to be, okay? Now I'm going to duplicate that on top. So we're going to click, and I'm going to hit the plus sign to duplicate that. Let's go back. There we go. So I'm going to duplicate it, put that back into place. I'm going to go back to Effects, change this to black, and now make this smaller, okay? So I can't go too small because then I'll start to see the other design, like I'll see the white part. So you want to make sure that it's big enough to kind of cover that. And then let's also move this kind of back into place because it was a little bit off. I can probably go a little bit smaller now. Okay, there we go. All right. And if I wanted to adjust the other one, I would have to, so if I click, I'm always clicking the top one. I have to go into position, go back to that layer, then click on Effects to adjust that thickness. Once we have that, you will now have to save this as a JPEG or PNG with no because there's no transparency to this, and bring it back in. As far as this background, you can click on it and simply change the color, or you can put a box, a rectangle square behind it and fill it in with color. But then you want to go Share, Download, and then you can either choose PNG, and just don't select transparent background, or you can go over to JPEG if you want to just do it as a solid JPEG. So I'll just show even with the PNG, I'm going to go to current page. So I just need page 2. The size doesn't really matter, but for some reason, most Canva users default to go all the way up and just maximize the size. That does not affect the quality, guys. I promise you it doesn't affect the quality like that. So we're just going to go ahead and download. Once we download it, I'm going to come over here. It's going to add another one, and I'm going to drag and drop that into this window. I'm going to spread it out to where it is the max size. Go to background remover, and it will remove that background. Now I can save this as a PNG. Oops, and in that one we had a few areas in here where it did not fully remove, which is kind of interesting because this one it did remove. So I wonder why it didn't do it that time. Not quite sure, which that's a risk that you take where every area may not be removed. Now, can you go into edit, go to the remover, go to the erase tool, adjust your brush, and try and remove that out? You sure can. If you have Pro, you can also use the magic eraser, and you can go click instead of brush, and you're going to click in certain areas and hopefully select just that part. And then, yeah, see, this is still selecting everything. So you still would have to go to the brush. So there's a lot of workaround in Canva because Canva can't do that. All right. So now I'm going to show you in Silhouette how easy you could accomplish this, even with the free version of Silhouette Studio. So we're going to go back. We're going to come over here. So we have our checker background. We have our word vacay. I'm going to place this here. My students know we don't do anything without duplicating. So let's just make our copy there. All right. So I'm going to click on the word vacay. We're going to come over here to our offset tool and we're going to hit offset. You're going to make this as big or as small as you would like for it to be. And I'm going to make that black and group it together because they're separated. Then we're going to go offset again and make this as big or as small as we want this to be. And then apply. And I'm going to take that, I'm sorry, hold on. I forgot to add color. I like to add color just so that I know what I have selected. And we're going to go ahead and group that together. So to subtract this out, which for visual purposes, I'm going to go ahead and just make a duplicate so you guys can see the difference. I'm going to click on that outline one. Hold down Shift, click on my checkerboard. Go over to Modify and Subtract. Then we're going to go ahead and just group this together. I like to remove my line color. And now, as you can see, that is actually cut away. It removed that area. If this was like a JPEG or PNG, like in Photoshop, we would have, I'm doing air quotes, removed those pixels. So you're able to subtract away areas to create voids right in the design. Canva can't do that, okay? So here it is here where you have this piece, you have a background, you have another, you have the original word, and then you have another, not background, offset or outline, and then you have another outline is how it is set up. Now, if you have Business Edition, you would be able to take just this part of the design and you could save this as a PNG or in my preference, a PDF so that you can get DTF prints made. If you want to put it on the background of anything, put a psychedelic background, put flowers, put hearts, put a beach behind it, you are able to do that. If you want to fill in the letters, you are able to do that without it being a frame. There is a lot of versatility when you kind of step outside of Canva. Now, for those who are a part of our exclusive email list to get exclusive tips and tricks, I am going to show you how you can go from Canva to Silhouette, be able to save it, and even take it back into Canva if that's like your preferred place to, zhuzh things up. I'm going to share with you guys a video on how to do that. Just make sure that if you're joining our group, you click on the link, you give us your information, get on the list to get all of the exclusive updates, tutorials, and more. All right, y'all, until next time, have a great one. Continue to unlock your creativity, be incredible, and remember, Canva can't do that. All right, y'all, peace.